Begone, sunflower. Good morning, everyone. Finally got back to a little bit of a schedule today. Today's article, kind of looking at, the lines in landscaping, I would say, especially in a neighborhood or in a city. And I just want you to kind of see how this kind of manifests. Like somebody let's say somebody plants one flower. Well, that's nice. Looks good in the front yard, or a shrub. And then it gets to where this situation is, which is just fascinating. So let's just get to it. Article headline: Icon in our neighborhood. City citation issued against South Austin sunflower patch. And it goes on to talk about this house has sunflowers growing along the side, and you can see right here it's just growing along the sidewalk. I think this is the one. See? And in the article it says that they received a notice requiring the property owners to remove the sunflowers. Notice cited right-of-way mobility concerns and an ordinance prohibiting weeds and grasses over 12 inches tall from growing on a property. Now, the lady that's quoted in the article is not happy. She's not the owner of the property, and talks about how it went through Nextdoor, that app. I don't really like Nextdoor myself. I think it's kind of strange. But the big deal is the house is on the corner of a four-way intersection where the speed limit is 30 miles per hour. And they said that they're looking into any visibility impairments. So one of the arguments you'll tend to get is, well, why are you enforcing this and not something else? So in the article you have the standard, why are officials issuing a citation over this and not lingering trash and remodeling home debris in surrounding streets? And then it goes on and says, it's sad. That's the highlight of the article. So I had some thoughts, I had some questions, and I just wanted to go over this because it's all about balance. And so, did they go over the line with their sunflowers? I'm not good at gardening by any stretch of imagination, but if you even look at like a tulip, I would think that when it blooms, it's more than 12 inches high. So we're going to get rid of tulips in a neighborhood? It's just kind of odd. So one of the things I wanted to go over first is there's no HOA in this story. This is just the municipality. And, a lot of people, rightly criticize HOAs. In this situation, if you were in an HOA, would they make you take the flowers down? Probably, if it was in the bylaws. And so, I'm not defending the HOAs on everything, but in this situation, you wouldn't have this. You may have public outcry for it, but you wouldn't. This would be pretty clear. And so what do you think about having sunflowers along the sidewalk of a property in the city? Now, I think it's pretty harmless, but if there are traffic concerns, that is an issue. We don't have sidewalks in my subdivision, so if somebody wanted to plant sunflowers in their front yard in a line obstructing the view of the house, that would be considered strange. So that, in my neighborhood, you walk the streets and you hope not to get run over. But you would not put out a row of sunflowers along the street. That would not be something you would do. And if somebody did it, I don't know what would happen, but I don't want to be the person to find out, so I'm not doing it. In the article, it says that, because the year's been so bad due to coronavirus, they think that there should be an allowance that's made. And I would just say, where does that end? We're going to make an allowance for the coronavirus, for this, for that. It just gets old. Kind of sick of the whole coronavirus idea. That does exist. Don't yell at me. But still, I'm sick of the argument. The city is looking into this situation in the sense that the house is on the corner of a four-way stop and the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. In theory, there's a blind corner. So, if I'm driving and I don't know where I've never been there, I'm looking at these sunflowers. I'm like, oh, look, great, sunflowers. And then I run into a car, or a car doesn't see me and runs into me. That is a reasonable issue in a community to me. The owner says they will remove the sunflowers rather than fight the city. I don't think there's any point in fighting the city on this one. I just don't see it. So a question I had would you want to live next to someone with sunflowers in their front yard? So, like for me, there's a house off of Matilda in Afton where I live where the sunflowers are in a garden on the side of the house, and every year they grow super high, like 20 feet or more, and it's amazing to see them. But they're on the side of the house, and they aren't on a sidewalk. They're in a garden, and they are really impressive. So I think it's all in context. If I had sunflowers in my backyard, is anybody going to care? No. Not my neighbors aren't going to care. Nobody's going to bother me. So it's the placement of the flowers in the location that's causing the issue. And then in the article, it talks about the environment. We've seen this argument. So the flowers are good for the environment, and then there's places where flowers aren't allowed to be cut down in the city. And the response to that is, no one would argue that flowers are bad for the environment. And there's a difference between growing tall flowers along a sidewalk in a residential area and, say, a park or a conservation area. A question I had that I don't have the answer to is it a neighborly thing to do to grow sunflowers along your sidewalk that attract attention to your yard, bringing more people into the neighborhood? And I think about this in the context. I heard a story yesterday from a friend down the road. I said, oh, you live over by the Christmas lights every year. So there's this one street that they put up all these Christmas lights, and it's cool. I don't like the traffic or anything like that, so I don't go. But he was telling me that, some guy in the neighborhood puts up a sign that says, oh, if you like these lights, you'll really love this other lights. And so it takes all these people and throws them into another neighborhood. And everyone in the neighborhood hates the guy for doing it. And so, I don't think I want sunflowers bringing a bunch of attention to the neighborhood. Now, that's me. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. But I was struck in this article. This is a pretty simple thing. The homeowner planted sunflowers along the sidewalk. And I'm pretty sure they didn't do it in the case, to cause anyone any issues. This wasn't done in spite or anything. This was just, hey, I got some sunflower seeds. I'm going to put them down and see what happens. And so they grow and it looks nice. It's a shame because, like, if you're trying to do something, nice and innocent, and then you get a whole bunch of heat for it, it's like, what's the point? Like, it's kind of soul sucking in a way. And finally, I understand this because I was listing a house in a neighborhood and everything was really nice. The lawns were all well kept. And then there was this one house where the yard in front had been ripped up and there were all these shrubs, trees, flowers. It was very unkept and it looked terrible. And so in this case, I can see why there are ordinances about this sort of thing. The neighbors around that house would be, irritated and annoyed because it's an eyesore. No one wants to live next to that person. Like, what is wrong with them? Now, this is a little different than in the city. They've taken out yards and they put in, nice little shrubs and stuff, but it's all very, very well kept. And it's all perfectly landscaped. And that's not an issue. I'm talking about when someone has either gotten too old to take care of it or doesn't take care of it. And now they've got all this crap in their front yard and it just looks terrible. There's no curb appeal and it makes the neighborhood look run down. And so I just wanted to go over this with you. I don't have a. I don't really. I mean, I just feel terrible for the person that planted the flowers and was trying to do a good thing and make the house they thought or make the place look better, and then they get hit by the city. But I also understand where the city, is coming in here. I don't think that if that's at an intersection and you can, it is obstructed. That's an issue. So just a simple article today. Just something to get you thinking. What would you do? How would it go? If you like that sort of thing, you should consider subscribing to my channel, Deerwood Realty STL on YouTube. But pop a comment in the comment section below. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. I haven't really taken too hard of a stance on anything, so that'll be interesting. But what would you do if your neighbor decided to put up a bunch of flowers that covered up their front? Would you complain? Would you be irritated? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed watching, listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.